Alright, hi folks, Malcolm here from SWSEIC. Apologies that we couldn't be there today, but I filmed this very short video for you to just give you a little detail about what we've been up to and how we've been supporting the very exciting Annan Harbour Adapting to Change project. In this presentation you might well see photos that belong to you. These are all photos directly from the iNaturalist project, so hopefully that you'll recognise a few today. So I'm sure Elaine has already told you quite a bit about the Adapting to Change project, which is a very exciting, proactive citizen science project that's aiming to collect environmental data in the Annan area. Annan of course might well be quite significantly impacted by climate change in the decades to come. And there's a number of side projects which I've listed there. But the ones that we've really been involved with have been the Adapting to Change Biodiversity project, which I'll talk to you about more in a moment. We've also helped set up the Harbour Spuggies project, which I'll mention a little as well. And there's also the New Bees project, which is a sort of pollinator based project, and we've delivered a few talks this winter that will help support that. So the very first thing that we did before we even started doing our talks and events and setting up the iNaturalist projects was we conducted a data inquiry from our database for the Annan area, and in layman's terms that's basically extracting all the records from the Annan area through our database using a map, using an outline map. So as you can see from that, we've learned that there's actually quite a lot of records of legally protected species in the area, of biodiversity list species, of other notable species, things like amber and red list birds, and also invasive species. And all these kind of things should and hopefully will influence future management, future policy, and may well have implications for developments and other projects that Annan Harbour is involved with. And from that data inquiry, that gave us a baseline to start with, so we could then look at setting up the iNaturalist project and maybe highlighting a few things that people could go out and look for in that area. So the iNaturalist app is the app that we've decided to recommend for this recording Adapting to Change project. And the reason is it's A, free, fantastic, but it's also user friendly. It's designed specifically for the general public, so anybody can use it. You don't have to be an ecologist or a bug nut to use it, which is amazing. And there's a number of very useful tools on it. There's an AI, an artificial intelligence, and it will attempt to identify your photos for you. Now, it's not always entirely accurate, so do use it with a pinch of salt, but it does give you a good idea. And even if you're completely wrong and the AI is completely wrong, it's actually fine, because there's a community of verifiers, including myself, on there, and we'll fix any mistakes. So even if you record a koala bear in Annan, it's fine, we'll go and we'll fix it. So that's perfectly fine. And not only is that a really good engaging tool for people to use, it's a great way to learn, but that information is then shared with us, the record centre. So we're getting new records, improving our database, and we'll then use that data to feed into data inquiries, which we give to planning applications, to conservationists, and all sorts of things. So it's very, very helpful and useful information for us, and a very great engaging tool for you. So to help further the Adapting to Change Annan Harbour project, what we've done is create an iNaturalist activity, and effectively this is an online system that will help Annan Harbour to keep tabs of what's been recorded in the area, and any records within the Annan area will automatically be put into this project. So it's a very good accessible tool. And there's our area there. We've just drawn it on very crudely, and you can see exactly what's been recorded in that area and whereabouts, which is great, fantastic. So next we also have at the top there, you can see the most recent observations, what's been recorded the most recently, who's recording it. It's a great way to keep in tabs. And then we also have some leaderboards. So we've got who's recorded the most species, and what species are being recorded the most. So this is a really good competitive tool. If you really get into this, you can start competing with each other and seeing who can record the most and who can record the most species. So at the moment you can see that the house sparrow is winning the most recorded species competition there. And down here you've got a few stats. You can see exactly how many records are on that system and what quality they are. So the green ones have been verified, the cream ones have not been verified yet, and then unfortunately the grey ones cannot be verified, possibly due to a lack of data. So if you want to see exactly what's been recorded, there's that observations tab there. You can just click that and you can just scroll down and see who's been recording, what have they been recording, and there's a really nice visual system there. And you might see a few green buttons at the top, that tells you they've been verified. You can also click on the map, and you can click on these little spots, these little locations, and see exactly what's been recorded on that spot. And there's also a list form there as well if that's easier for you, and there's a few more details to glean from that as well. You can also have the species tab. If you click that, you can see quite quickly and quite clearly what species have been recorded in the Annan Harbour area, which may well be of interest to you. But it's a very nice visual output there. There's identifiers, you don't need to worry about that, that's just people helping with IDs. But there's also the observers tab. You can click that and see exactly who is recording in the Annan Harbour area and who's winning the observations and species battle. And you can click on individual ones if you so wish. So that's the Annan Harbour account there. And that's really it for the Adapting to Change Biodiversity project. So we've also set up an iNaturalist Adapting to Change Harbour Spuggies project, and this project is designed specifically to help monitor the house sparrows in the Annan Harbour area. House sparrows have not yet declined massively in Dumfries and Galloway, however they have in the UK, now a red list bird. So it's a really good project to start monitoring the population in case that decline were to occur. So it's very much the same as the iNaturalist, the other iNaturalist project that I've just shown you, but it's just specific to house sparrows. I think I did also include tree sparrows in it in the odd chance that you get one, and there is a tree sparrow record in there, which is also quite interesting, another rare bird. But just the same as the other project, we've got recent observations, we've got who's been recording it the most, and what species have been recorded. And as I said, there has actually been one tree sparrow recorded there, which is quite exciting. And we've also got the map just as before, but we've made it much more restricted, really just for the Annan Harbour area, and you can click on those points as before and see exactly what's been recorded. So, as well as the projects, we've also been working very closely with Annan Harbour to run a few events. So throughout the year we've run, I think, 5 events, something like that. So the very first event we ran was based on the data inquiry that we did. So we looked very closely at what's been recorded in the Annan area from our database, and that included recent records and records dating back to the 18th century, the 19th century, sorry. And so that was a really great way to showcase what's already been recorded, what's not been recorded, and what we should be recording. So rare species, species that are being lost, which is very interesting. We also ran a few bird watching, winter bird watching sessions. So we went out with a family, with the families, and just went out bird watching in the harbour to see what we could find. Unfortunately, it was a very dreek and windy day, but we did in fact have a very good bird watching session, and we did see an otter, which was fantastic. We did come back as well, and we did have a few activities to keep the kids entertained, because yeah, it was blowing a hoolie that day, unfortunately. And we also delivered a few pollinator talks. So this was all based on talking about pollinators in particular, and saying what's been recorded locally, what to look out for, and how what are the different roles of different pollinators, because it's not just about bees, flies and all sorts also do a lot of very important pollinating. And really the point of all these talks was to facilitate and encourage recording of these specific groups, but recording as a whole to feed into that adapted to change recording project. So if you were to ask me, has the project been a success? Well, actually I think it has. It hasn't been running very long. It's only been running, since November last year or something like that. We've already got 106 species recorded on the project, and that covers 50 total recorders. And although a lot of those might have been before the project, what we have done is provided a new medium for you folks to get involved with recording, to engage with wildlife, to learn about wildlife, and in any way we can do that, that's got to be a success, hasn't it? We've already got good good records from that project, which I'll talk about in a minute, and at the end of the day, what it's doing is help setting a baseline. All these records, every record is helping tell us what's in that area today, and that gives us a baseline to work from going forward. So the iNaturalist project, it's already collecting valuable wildlife records. So I'll just give you a few highlights that we've already received. So there we have a little egret. Little egret 40-50 years ago was a very rare bird in the UK, but in the recent decades has been spreading quite a lot and has probably benefited from increasing temperatures. We've also got southern hawker, the dragonfly. That's another species that's spreading locally due to climate change. And then speckled wood there from Mike Evans, a butterfly that's also spreading probably due to climate change. So the Adapting to Change iNaturalist project's already helping us to improve our local knowledge of climate's impact on wildlife. And of course, we've also got the Harbour Spuggies project, haven't we? Well, we don't know how they are going to be impacted in the future, but this project's already helping to tell us how they're doing today, and that'll help influence perhaps management in the future. So it's not just animals we've been getting good records for, we've also received a number of very nice rare plant records from the Annan area. That includes the scarlet pimpernel, which is a rare plant, field scabious, navel-wort and spiny rest harrow. And these are all plants that have declined in the UK, so recording them through this project is fantastic. It's helping us show their current trend and perhaps how they're faring locally as well. So that's really all from us here at SWSEIC. Hopefully we've given you a good overview of what we've been up to and how you can get involved from a wildlife recording point of view. Thank you to the Annan Harbour group for being so proactive and getting us involved with this, and I'm fully expecting all of you to start recording using iNaturalist now, so please do that. If you've got any questions of any kind, there's my contact details there, please do get in touch. Thank you very much.